Welcome to the Heron Heads podcast. My name is Julio, and I'm joined today by some friends and fellow Inter Miami fans, Dave, Chris, and Jose. And on behalf of the guys, we want to thank you for joining us for episode 11 here on the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami. For those of you watching on YouTube, thanks for stopping by, and make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons if you enjoy the show. Before we begin, we'd like to take a minute to thank our supporters on Patreon. Shout out to Art, Brian, and Kevin. Thank you so much for your support. If you feel so inclined to support us on Patreon, you will find a link in the description wherever you are listening. And if you don't feel so inclined, that's totally okay too. We appreciate you being here. All right, guys. So before we talk about this game against Nashville, I want to take just a short moment to discuss the announcement that was made a few hours ago by Inter Miami that their new stadium complex, Freedom Park, has officially begun its construction with an estimated completion date of 2025. Dave, since it's been a full episode since we heard your angelic voice, why don't you kick us off? What's your reaction to the construction finally getting underway?
Thanks, guys. It's good to be back. Sorry I missed that last episode. I wish I could be here, but had a little bout with COVID-19, but back, feel pretty good. So here we go. As far as Miami Freedom Park, I am super excited that this show is getting on the road. It's being built not too far away from where I live, so that's something that is very, very exciting for me. It's almost impossible for me to get to the games where they are right now at Drive Pink Stadium, all the way in Fort Lauderdale with the young kid at home. It's kind of a tall task getting the approval from my wife to be like, oh, it's going to take off for an indefinite amount of hours to go drive to this game and come back. But it doesn't happen, at least not in my household. So getting to go 20 minutes down the road to the stadium will be a much easier sell. On top of that, the stadium will be opening in 2025, hoping that the youth academy will be up and running by that time as well. My son will be around that age where he'll start being able to play a little soccer. So I'm curious to see if that's a possibility for him in the future. So yeah, there's a lot of good and positive for that stadium, at least on my end.
So first of all, Dave, what's that thing on your mouth? Was that a symptom of COVID, or
yeah,
where'd that come from?
when I got COVID, my beard fell off, and then all I had left was a mustache. So strange.
Anyways,
variant.
good look. It's a good look. So yeah, so that stadium, I don't know if you guys have had a chance, listeners, to actually look at the pictures of the new stadium, but man, it's beautiful. It's state of the art. It's almost like a little city. It has a little bit of everything. It has offices, shopping, restaurants, has a humongous park, and then it has obviously some soccer fields, and then the main attraction, the actual stadium itself. So it looks really nice, in theory, it looks great. I'm just curious about the area that they're putting it in. It's a very congested area. So it's kind of worrisome. We'll see what happens. Maybe they try to figure out the traffic situation there, build new roadways to make it a little easier to get in and out. But besides that, I'm super excited. I think it's going to be beautiful. It's a nice new attraction in that area. And right now, really, there's not a lot to do in that area. There was a golf course there, but that's about it. The airport's right there. It might be kind of noisy, but the airplane's flying by. And then I don't know what they're going to do about the fireworks, right, Jose? Fireworks, I don't know if they're going to time it correctly or not do fireworks at all, but it's really close to that airport. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea what they're gonna do. Every time we score 5 goals, I don't know how they're gonna do the fireworks with the planes coming. But no, it should be fun. Right now, I'm in the Miami area. There's not a lot of places to go after you watch a ball game. When you're in by Hard Rock Stadium, there's not that much to do. I think they're making it now, like afterwards. Ever since they did the F1 thing, they've started to make a few restaurants around there and a few bars, but not really. It wasn't built with the stadium, so it's a little bit awkward. American Airlines Arena just now downtown Miami is kind of getting up and lively. Where when we were growing up, downtown Miami really wasn't a place to go. People kind of said, okay, there's a lot of it's a lot of shady people here. Let's not go there. But no, now it's actually very nice. So I go to the bars nearby, but you still got to walk 3 or 4 blocks. And in downtown, 3 or 4 blocks is It's not around the corner. So no, it's gonna be nice. Having everything close by is gonna be really cool. It's gonna be a cool experience.
Yeah, I think I share the sentiments of Dave of just the stadium and really the whole complex just being so much closer than Fort Lauderdale. And also, it's nice when your team is named after a city that they actually base in the city. I feel like that's just it should be it should be what's required, but we've had to wait quite a while for this to happen. And yeah, having better accessibility to the programs that they'll have, just the club related events, they'll be so much easier to get to. Drive Pink Stadium right now it's always been a temporary place, and it's felt that way whenever you go. It feels like it's just being rented by Inter Miami almost. And this will be a proper complex. It's going to have like a whole restaurant entertainment complex, which I think will be really great for building the culture around pre-game, post-game, and it should be a party. This is Miami, like it should be a party, regardless of what sport it is. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think it just being closer to me is a positive in every single way. So I'm really looking forward to it.
One idea for a substitute for fireworks is they can probably loan out that home run sculpture from Marlins Park and install it somewhere in that complex and just let those Marlins just toil around.
You serious?
Oh, thank you. That belongs in the dump.
That's your thought. You really think that's what we should do?
Yes.
Yeah, I imagine the pyrotechnics will have to be contained within the stadium itself, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Out of Marlins Stadium, we're gonna put it in the stadium.
So actually, speaking of the Marlins, so I think the last time a stadium was built in Miami, it kind of left a bad taste in the mouth. But
big time.
The biggest difference here is that was a publicly funded stadium, right? So not a lot of people were happy with it. It didn't really do much with it. It's built in a weird area, but this stadium is privately funded. So they have more open room, I think, or at least cash flow to actually do more around it and to kind of just add to it instead of just build that structure and just leave it there and call it a day. I think they could call it their own now, and they'll probably make it a lot funner to be there and just overall better.
If I'm not mistaken, in Marlins Stadium recently, didn't they put a little brewery on the bottom, or they had one at one time?
Marlins Park was designed to be multifunction. It's supposed to have office, restaurant space, a lot of the same concepts that this complex is supposed to have. However, it wasn't the same project that this new soccer stadium is supposed to be. This is a much more expansive property. It has a lot more function. It actually has parks and training grounds, which Marlins Park is just a park and garages. So it's a very different project. Also, this is not designed to uplift the surrounding area, which Marlins Park was promised to do. That's part of why they got public funding. This is not promising to do that. This is promising to just bring talent and to bring up the quality of soccer players coming out of this area.
And also being a Hurricanes fan, for example, it kind of not only did that everything that was promised, did they not do it, but on top of that, they just literally destroyed a historic stadium, that the Orange Bowl, which that left another bad taste. It was a bad taste after bad taste after bad taste. It was just like just swallowing the worst pills.
Yeah, they're still fighting those demons. I feel the stigma associated with that park, but we're looking forward to Freedom Park, and we'll keep you guys updated with any news that comes out. For now, we're stuck at Drive Pink Stadium, and on Wednesday at Drive Pink Stadium, we'll be welcoming Nashville, who we saw very recently in the Leagues Cup final. And to that end, we will be presenting the Leagues Cup trophy to our home crowd. It's our first match at home since August 11. It feels like so far away. So much has happened since that game. That was the Cruz Azul game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so, no?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Or Charlotte. No, we played Charlotte.
We had one more game, I think, after Cruz Azul.
And it had to have been Charlotte, because after that was Philadelphia
it was
away,
Charlotte.
obviously Nashville away.
I'm way off. Cruz Azul, then we had Atlanta, then Orlando, then
Charlotte.
So
were a few.
Yeah, so Charlotte was the last game at home, August 11. Feels like forever ago, if I'm being completely honest. But Nashville's coming to town, and I think this is really interesting. Nashville felt like such a such a boogeyman. It was like, oh, this is gonna be like a really strong test. We fought to the end. It was like a real grind out game. We came out on top in penalties, and I'm looking forward to I'm looking forward to all these games. How are you guys feeling about Nashville coming to town?
I mean, I love the fact that we get to present the trophy to the fans right in front of Nashville, saying like this is what you could have had, but instead you ran into Messi and friends. So for one, that's great. I mean, I love being that kind of fan that just kind of rubs people's noses in. But yeah, so for first thing, that's great. And then as far as how I feel about the game, it's it's kind of course it's not as tense as the last game because it was the final, and this is just a regular season game. And I know every fixture is important for us. We have to try to come away with 3 points every time. But I know that we're flexing different lineups. We're trying to get different guys involved. So um, I don't see it as that much of a drive that we need to win this game. I'm kind of now just kind of enjoying this game and just seeing what the young guys can do. I'm looking for progression. That's my main thing. Progression and goal scoring.
Yeah, I think like David said, this time it's not as daunting as it was last time. So we're kind of nervous. Everyone was saying it's the best test that we've seen and this and that. And we kind of got there, and yes, it was a tough game, went to the end, but it wasn't as really intimidating as it should have been. I think we should expect similar to what we saw last game. I don't think it's going to be much of a difference. It wasn't that long ago. So we're probably going to see similar tactics. I'm looking forward to see if Tata has anything new up his sleeve. Maybe he learned from the last match. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think their defense is still an issue. Our offense has gotten better. The connectivity up front is just so much better than it was before. Obviously, with the new pieces that we've added, like Facu up there, I think he's going to help us a lot as well. So there are a few new pieces. We're still playing a really good defense. So it's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason why you guys are kind of like not as excited also, besides it not being a final, is because they literally just got wrecked against Atlanta, which we wrecked by 4. It's like, I don't know, it's just it becomes like okay, you were doing really good, you went to the finals, we knocked you out, and then you just completely died. So it's like that. I think that attributes to it, and that's why Vegas also betting line really quick. Go. Oh, you weren't ready. So it's one of those things that we're favored by a lot. We're at home. They don't do very well away, right? And then you also when I watched the film on this team when they were playing Atlanta, they should have lost by 6. They had two potential goals hit the post. Now Mukhtar obviously could have scored on a wide open in the middle of the box play, but they were so off that it could also be that they're fatigued as well. Like we're constantly talking about Miami's very fatigued, and we are. We see it. We see it. That lately, they've just been a little bit more and more fatigued. It's okay. It's part of the game. But what I think is happening to them is that hey, they were also in the finals, and they're also fatigued, and maybe they were resting because they rested Zimmerman also, which he's he's one of their best guys, and him not playing, it's like okay, it's like if I don't know if it's the same for them as it is for us, but I feel like it's like if Messi didn't play for us, right? It just throws their defense completely out of whack, and the way they were playing against Atlanta, it was like the middle was wide open, which against us we couldn't get more than 4 shot two let me see 2 shots on goal, two shots on target the last time we played Nashville. That was not the case against Atlanta. We had 53% possession in the last game. That's another key that we need to elevate. We need more possession. We need more shots on target, and we need more possession.
Yeah, that game I remember was so obvious towards the end of that game that we were just like holding on, and we were so tired by the end of that game. That was like such a stretch of matches that were so tight together. Obviously, Nashville had to deal with the same thing. And I didn't want to stop you because you were really on a roll, but the odds are minus 190 or so right now for Miami to win the game, which is very heavily favored in my opinion. I was shocked looking at this game or kind of researching, I was shocked how bad Nashville have been recently away from home. The game we played was in Nashville. We're going to be playing now in Miami, which is going to be a different type of place to play now that Messi's here. And it's going to be especially raucous, given that we're presenting the trophy. I think the pregame is going to be really fun. The build up and lead up into the match is going to be really fun. And I don't know about you guys, I'm expecting Messi to start this match. And that alone gets the people going. I think he's going to light that place on fire. And so Nashville last 5 games away from home, 0-5. So 0-5, 5 losses. 11 goals allowed, 1 goal scored across those 5 matches. That's not good, Bob.
That's bad.
That's not good.
It's not good, but Zimmerman is going to play now.
Zimmerman didn't play one of those matches. I'm talking about last 5 games total.
Yeah.
Away from home. So yeah, Zimmerman is an animal. Don't get me wrong. I self-proclaimed I like Zimmerman. I think he's an incredible defender. But if you're not scoring away from home,
no, they're not going to score that.
We're going to score.
Yeah.
I don't.
And we do well at home.
Speaking of odds, like Vegas has a scoring 2+ goals.
Wow.
So if we're scoring 2 and Nashville is on this form that they're not scoring away from home, it's over. Like
is that the over-under? Is 2 goals the over-under?
The over-under for the game is 3. Which is typical in MLS. Usually it's 3 to 4. So the over-under is at 3, so the over would be 4, which is a lot of goals. But anyways, I also thought it was interesting in this game against Atlanta that Nashville played that Schaffelberg was back in the starting lineup. I think he's going to be in line for a lot of minutes against us. And he adds a different component that we didn't get a chance to see in the final.
Yeah, he was flying. Every time you watch film on Nashville prior to them playing us, I didn't see a lot of it in Atlanta, to be honest, but it could be that the whole team was just discombobulated because he really didn't look good. So let's just scratch that game out because that doesn't tell the story of what we saw prior to the final. We're all watching film, trying to see what their tactics were. Prior to that, they were using Schaffelberg a lot, and Schaffelberg was a really good director of just nice through balls into the center. I expect if he's in form, I expect him to be doing some of that against us, because if we're tired and we continue to trot out Alba and trot out Yellen didn't play much in the last game, so that could be something that can help us, but I agree with you.
One thing that I've heard, and I don't know if I agree with too much, is before we played Cincinnati, they got crushed by Columbus, and that was seen as an aberration that they were looking ahead. So I've heard people say that about Nashville now. Oh, they're looking ahead. Well, we played Nashville before. I don't think that they would have that looking ahead. They kind of know.
No, yeah,
they know what to expect from us, in the sense that they've had to deal with the Dragon. So now they're not like, of course they're nervous about playing again, but it's not the same. So I don't think it's the fear of the unknown. So I don't think they were looking ahead too much. I think they lost for the same reasons that we kind of struggled a little bit with the last game, is that they had a lot of tired legs. So I don't want to give the easy out of they were looking ahead.
I think Nashville's just they're bad away from home. Looking not just last 5 games, for the season they're 3-3-7 with 10 goals scored across 13 matches and 18 goals allowed. That's not good. I mean, the best teams in the league away from home is Orlando. Well, in the Eastern Conference is Orlando City with 6-3-3. Nashville's just middle of the pack with a lot of losses, 7 losses away from home, 5 straight. I mean, it's just not good. I don't think they were looking ahead. I agree with you, because they're already familiar with what we're bringing to the table.
And not only that, but Atlanta's literally right behind them was right behind them in the playoffs, and now they got jumped. It's like they needed that win. They needed that, and they got spanked. That's it.
Another thing to add to the home versus away advantage too. What were we all scared about coming up to the finals game? We were worried about the crowd, right? That was supposed to be the crazy atmosphere and all of this stuff, and it was, but we shut them up pretty quickly, I think. But now they're coming into our territory. Like you said, Messi's probably starting. Okay, they're presenting the new trophy. The crowd is going to be wild. They haven't been here in a bit, so it's going to be crazy. They're going to have to deal with a lot of that crowd stadium, the crowd stayed, the crowd noise. So it
20,000
should be interesting.
cocky Inter Miami fans.
Exactly.
There won't be
Obnoxious.
Just-
there won't be any Nashville
Gloriously
fans.
obnoxious.
Just singing Gozadera in Union.
It's gonna be beautiful. Beautiful.
Okay, and if we're honest, and that all right, you want cocky, Miami fan? Okay, if we're honest, in that final game, guess what? We should have won 3-1. It should have never gone to. It should have never gotten to where it got to because we had off the post, Messi hit a beautiful screamer right to the right side, and that one right there, it bounced. You guys remember that? It bounced to the right.
Yep.
That one, Campana should have nailed it. I don't care, and we love him. Guess what? He should have nailed it. That would have been 3-1. That's it. This game would have been over. We would have been in shorties.
Partying it up at Shorty's, a classic Miami staple. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really interesting to see Nashville at quote unquote full strength. I envision Zimmerman playing full 90. I envision Mukhtar, of course. I envision Schaffelberg playing a lot of minutes. We'll see where his fitness is at. I don't know if he plays a full 90. It seems like they're working him back in because I believe he had a upper leg injury. It might have been a hamstring or a groin. I'm not sure. I don't expect him to play a full 90, but he's explosive. So Schaffelberg. I mean, Mukhtar obviously goes without saying almost, but our defense is going to be they're the ones that are the weakness, right? We've said it over and over again. So I'm looking at them for this game as far as we're concerned as the ones that need to step up and have themselves a game because we know in attack we're going to do our thing.
Atlanta figured it out. Atlanta figured it out with Mukhtar. They just left him on the top of the box open and said, shoot. They say freaked out.
It threw him off. It threw him off. They expect the unexpected.
I don't recommend that we take the same approach.
Agreed. Although Calendar will probably stop him if he gets it on target this time.
Calendar's not worried.
Facts.
He's like, let him in. They had, I think, 4 shots on target, Nashville, when we played them. They had a lot of chances against us. I think on our key to the game. Our key to the game is we need to keep them out of the box. They did very well with those set pieces.
Wait, we're getting to keys? Are we at the keys now?
We're at the keys.
We're so far past keys.
We're in the keys?
Yeah. Defense,
so
set
keys
pieces.
for Nashville, I think we're
Fort
at.
Lauderdale, Miami, now we're in the keys? All right.
I'm on keys for Nashville. Are we there yet? That's where I'm at.
Jose's already predicting the score. He's done with this episode.
Jose's signing off, heading to shorties already.
So for the keys for Nashville, we'll start that. I think if they have any chance at playing us at all, we haven't played a team yet, have we? That maybe the last game actually that has beaten us in possession. I think the last team just did, right?
No, against Red Bulls. No, it was very close to a split.
So I think we were at 50.2. That's the closest we've been to a team, and I think that's the key for teams to beat us. They have to have the possession over us. When we have the possession, we're rolling. We're getting our offense going. Slow build up. Get more touches to Messi. It's just a numbers game. The more we have the ball, the more opportunity we're gonna have to give Messi a shot on target.
Yeah, I think Nashville needs to hammer. They need to do their best to get set pieces in dangerous areas because I feel they have a huge advantage over us on set pieces. Remember those stretches where they had a couple corners in a row against us? Calendar had to make a great save in the final against them. Those set pieces, they're deadly. They're deadly. They scored a lot of their goals in the Leagues Cup off of set pieces. Zimmerman's a menace on corners. That scares me to death. And we've been bad all year on set pieces. We said it after or in our preview to the last match. I think we're awful on set pieces. So we need to make sure from the Inter Miami's perspective that we are very careful with how we come out and attack their attackers when they're coming at our defense. If for example, if Toto Aviles comes to play 2 straight games with a yellow card, he needs to not get ahead of himself, just play within himself, trust that he has help if he gets beat, and he needs to chill because he can't be giving away fouls at the top of the box.
No, that and also Campana is now. If I remember correctly, we subbed Campana on I think at the 60th or 70th minute in that game in the final. So what I think with that is that, okay, if we're able to get him in sooner, which we've been doing lately, that can help us out.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to see the other side of the pitch is the defense. So it's kind of a new look defense with Toto Avila's out there, right? We're normally playing Christoph and Kamal Miller in the middle with obviously our wingbacks, but I think now they're kind of shifting to having that three center back formation, and then our wingers kind of attacking a little more. So Avila has been playing really nice lately. I'm interested to see, can he keep up with Mukhtar? You know, obviously that's their biggest threat going forward. So if Avilas could actually try to keep him at helm a little bit and just focus on him, it might be an interesting thing to watch in this match. Although Mukhtar didn't, I don't want to say he didn't do anything last match, but he wasn't that.
We did a good job against them.
He did, yeah, he did a good job against, but he wasn't that aggressive attacker that I think we were afraid of.
Yeah, he
right?
had that one breakaway where Miller caught up to him. He had those just
right.
small moments that you could just see the skill.
Right. So huh?
Yeah, the goal, the goal that bounced, the calendar almost had it, but
yeah. So I'm interested to see. You know, we kind of shut him down last match, but
the left side.
But we have a new defense, new look defense is what I want to call it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here.
I think for whatever reason, I just have this sinking feeling that that's going to go back to a 4 at the back, and reserve whichever of the center backs isn't starting to come on later and spell whoever seems most fatigued and tired, whether it's Avila's coming off the bench or Christoph. I mean, Christoph rested last match, so maybe Miller comes off the bench. I just think he's gonna go back to a back 4, give ourselves a better chance to hold the ball against Nashville, and build on the home field advantage. Get the crowd going every time Messi gets a touch or Busquets plays a pass or Alba makes a run. I think we want to control that as much as we can and put Nashville under as much pressure and keep them off the ball. Like if they don't have the ball, we're golden. So I speaking of lineups and what I think that stays with Campana, even though we haven't seen Joseph. I think Joseph is a late sub, but we didn't really see Campana until late in the Nashville match in the Leagues Cup. And he's getting a little bit of confidence going. He took on that ball against New York Red Bulls where he did like a bicycle kick. His heat map from that match has me a little concerned. A lot of it was concentrated towards the middle of the field. I want to see him way more in the penalty area, but it tells me that he's coming back to help build up. He needs to be the recipient of the buildup rather than part of the buildup as much as he was. I mean, it's what we want Martinez to do. Campana's sort of doing it, but he's almost doing it too much. It's almost too selfless. I want him to go and be the 9, be the guy that we're gunning for at the end of the buildup.
I want to see. I also agree with you. I want to see Campana in there in the starting lineup. It's not just for that, but for the set pieces. The set pieces is what scares me the most with Nashville. That's where they can hurt us the most consistently. So I really think it's important to get any size that we can in there. Another thing that I'm expecting to see is Robert Taylor getting a start at the wing position, not the wing back position. I think we're all tired of seeing him at 2 games straight at the wing back position. And I would really like to see Facundo Farias play just behind the striker and see him a little more mid, but behind the striker, not float out to the wing as much.
Yeah, I'll cut in really quick just to kind of put a bow on your Campana statement being important on set pieces. Just from last game, Campana on defense had 1 clearance, 2 block shots, 1 interception, 3 tackles. Joseph Martinez would never.
No. Agreed. Yeah, it's I kind of hinted it already, but I want to see Toto Avila's out there. I want to see that young guy running around, shadowing Mukhtar if need be. You made a good point that who are we gonna, if we go back to that 4-back set, who's gonna be in the bench? Speaking of set pieces, Kamal Miller did really good last game with set pieces. So if he is benched this game to, brought in a little later, it might take a hit as far as set pieces go. So that's something to watch as well when the lineups come out tomorrow.
a good
I'm gonna
point.
go ahead and just get everyone upset on YouTube, and just watch their comments blow up. I don't want to see Robert Taylor. I want to see Facundo up in the top. I want to see Campana, and I want to see Messi. That's what I want to see. Robert Taylor, bye. I love you. That'll miss you. That's it.
We'll see. This is the game where I to an extent agree with you, Jose. I think this match is so important. If we're able to get a result with all the international breaks coming up, I feel like every couple hours we're getting more news of more Inter Miami players getting called up to the national squads. The game on September 9th, I think it is, against Sporting Kansas City, we're not going to have a roster. Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to field a full 11. So I think we need to put our strongest 11 out on the pitch. And yeah, I mean, if it's Farias, Campana, Messi, and then midfield of Kramaski, Gomez, or Kramaski, Arroyo, and Busquets, and then you know the back line: Alba, Miller, Avilas, or Christoph, and Yedlin. I think we have to put our best foot forward.
Hey, they just signed Thiago Messi to our minor league squad. Maybe he wants to come up on the line.
He might have to play.
He might have to take his
anyone.
He might have to take his dad's place.
Unbelievable. So, with that said, we have. I think we're gonna have our strongest lineup. So I'm gonna just go ahead and take the initiative and give my score prediction. I think we're gonna win 2-1. However, I think Nashville's gonna score first.
That's something I really don't want to. I don't want to think of the idea of Nashville scoring first, just because me as a fan, I don't like watching the game coming from behind. So I like to be on top. I like to coast. So, but yeah, I do think that they come away with a goal, and I'm counting it to come off a set piece. But
what if I told you Messi scores the game-winning goal on a set piece in the 89th minute?
I mean, I always take that. Here for chaos and magic, and that's both. It's chaos magic. So no, I'm predicting. I already forgot what Julio said, but I'm predicting 3-1. But they're not going to score first.
So I'm gonna go with 2-2, and we go to pens again. It's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen.
There's no pens league play.
Oh, there is no pens in league play. That's true. Never mind.
We should just let it happen. You're right, Chris. That's how it's gonna
end. We're gonna tie this game, fellas.
That's
completely forgot there's no pens here. Yeah, that's not good for us. But
that's 1 point.
I know that's not what we want, but
I think a lot of people are predicting us to not get points in this match. So even if we get one, I don't think it. Well, obviously it wouldn't be a full loss, but yeah, coming away with 3 here, I think would be critical, and getting 6 off the jump coming back into league play is going to be huge if possible.
So I think Nashville being an away team, that goes against them. I think they're tired. That goes against them. I think they're coming to Miami to get a buzzsaw, and it's gonna be 3-1. So go ahead and bet the over. Just bet the over already.
All right. So as always, what is going to be the timestamp on the first Inter Miami goal?
18 minutes.
18 minutes for Jose. Chris, go ahead.
21 minutes.
Dave?
34 minutes.
We're going to have to wait this time. I'm going to go second half. I'm going to go 58 minutes. We're going to be down 1-0 heading into halftime, and then we're going to come out. We're going to score in the 58th minute.
I can't wait for Joseph Martinez to start over Campana and score in the 3rd minute. It's going to be fantastic.
Please do. By all means, please do. I will be as happy as everyone else.
Rip it into the upper 90.
I'll just eat that crow and happily. All right, guys. So I think this is going to be a really fun match. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see a presentation of our first trophy in front of our crowd. I think it's going to be fantastic. I so look forward to these matches nowadays. Before it would be like, Inter Miami's playing. Let me just catch the highlights later because I know it's going to be a rough watch. But now it's just appointment television. I can't wait. Yeah, Messi's inevitable. God, he came on 60th minute last game and still scored. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I could believe it, but yeah, it's appointment television. It's going to be fun to watch, and I can't wait to see it. So
bench Robert Taylor. We're gonna win, and that wraps it up.
We will see what that does and cooks up this match. But from all of us here at the Heron Heads podcast, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for the support. And as always, we'll catch you next time with the champagne bottles and pots and pans.